everyone, and welcome to this month's Cubit Network's Not-for-Profit Spotlight. Today, I am very happy to be here with Maria Burks,
Yes.
the president and founder of Homestretch Foundation in Salem, Indiana.
Yes.
We're actually in West Washington High School right now.
We are.
And so, tell me a little bit about Homestretch Foundation.
Well, the idea came to me a couple years ago, working with students at the high school. We've all known kids that have moved out of home, that move in with friends, families, and couch surf, and have places to live that are not stable. And so I have been thinking for several years it would be a great thing to be able to assist these 18-year-olds who haven't graduated from high school yet with a stable home environment and get them into a host family so that they can prepare for the next step, which obviously after graduation might be college or a job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is a relatively new organization, but obviously
yes.
you've been helping kids for a long time.
Right. I've been a licensed professional counselor for about 45 years and working with teenagers that long.
Yeah. And I think we talked a little bit before we started filming here that you've noticed the problem is getting increasingly more.
Yes, we have more kids who are growing up in tough home environments where they're not getting their needs met, or there might be abuse or drug addiction, or parents incarcerated. Whatever reason leads these kids to age 18, they need or want to move out of home, and they're not quite done with school yet. And what we have noticed is that we were losing a lot of them. We were losing them to graduation because they would get out and start working, and the first thing to get chucked was high school. And so we want to support these kids to stay in school, graduate, and then move on to the next phase.
Be productive citizens.
That's right.
And so, the idea, we were talking a little bit before, which I think is great, is you're really lowering barriers of entry for not only the kids, but also people who want to help.
Right, the host families.
Host families.
We're trying to get, the idea is to match the child with, well, not child, young adult, match the 18-year-old with a host family within the school district. And we have a school committee that is being formed that will be taking applications from the students and from the host families and trying to help match. And but then it goes to the board for final approval. And the placements are determined by when the child turns 18. If they turn 18, for instance, in November of their senior year, then they would live with this host family through graduation in May, and even past graduation for 3 months to get prepared to move on. So they're short-term placements, and we are trying to provide a stipend that is not a lot of money, but is some assistance to the host family. We want some of that money to go to the child for them to learn how to manage money and prepare to make some financial decisions for themselves in the future. So it is, each kid coming in the program will do a Casey Life Skills Assessment. And that identifies what areas they might be deficient in terms of life skills. That's
great. And so the significance of 18.
Yes, they're legal adults.
Exactly.
And we need that because they basically become eligible for their own services through Indiana Medicaid. Also, they become, well, we're working on, actually we have, most of them don't have driver's license. We're working on that kind of situation. Just a lot of trying to help kids get to a place where they can be independent and successful.
Yeah, that's been great. And so, you know, one of our Cubit teammates, Brianne Lowry, is from Salem.
Yes.
And so she introduced us together.
Right, she did.
And I know that the Lowry family is helping a young man, and I've seen the positive, the positiveness that comes out of the host family too.
Absolutely,
Right.
yes. Of
Yeah.
being able to take a young person in and guide and direct
Yes.
them and teach
Yep.
them some basic skills that they just have never been shown.
Right. Yeah, and
So-
I think there's a lot of things too. So we've helped some a kid in my life, and there's just things that you take for granted,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
That maybe they haven't experienced or experienced in a bad way, and then be able to model how that might look differently. You really take for granted how impactful that can be for
Yes.
that young adult.
I interviewed a young man that was living with a family, and he said the first time the host family, the parents got into an argument, he just tensed up and was very anxious because for him, his experiences, arguments always lead to violence. And somebody ends up in the ER hurt.
Yeah.
And so he just was waiting, and he said they kept talking and talking and arguing, and then their voices started getting softer, and they
Yeah.
actually resolved what they were angry about, and his mind was totally blown by
Yeah,
that because
yeah.
he had never experienced that
And
in
that
his
could be
life.
a forever change.
Forever.
for
To
that-
know
for that
that
young
you
man,
can
yeah.
resolve conflict without violence.
Yeah, that's
Very
great.
powerful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. So I think it's awesome what you're doing. If people wanted to learn more, where would
Yes,
they do that?
well, we just got a website
And
up
you gave me
today,
this, right? So
actually,
you hold this
yes,
up,
and this
right?
is our website here, homestretch-foundation.org.
Right.
And it is a new website, so we are constantly going to be updating
Yeah.
it. We have
Here's your
some
new logo,
videos coming.
right? Which
This is our
looks
new logo,
awesome. Yeah.
yes. And actually, these are symbols of change on our logo. The orange is considered a symbol of change.
Okay.
The birch tree
Yeah.
is a symbol of change. And then, of course, we wanted the house
Sure.
in there
Yeah.
as being the focus of our program.
That's awesome. So if people want to help, what are some paths to do that?
Well, there's going to be ways that you can help on the website.
Okay.
There will be applications if you're interested in being a host family, or if you know if a student wants to put in an application. There also will be some places where they can volunteer on some fundraising activities.
Okay,
Would be
yeah.
an awesome thing to do. There's also obviously donations they can make.
Right.
Our goal is we want to start this program in Washington County, Indiana. We're starting it at West Washington. It's one of 3 high schools in this county. We want to expand to the other 2 high schools initially, and then we are going to be expanding to different counties down here in the southern part of the state. So we're very interested, those of you in the northern part of the state, in listening to our program and maybe duplicating it.
Sure. Yeah, this needs everywhere.
Yes,
Yes,
yes. Well,
it sure is.
homelessness just continues to rise.
Yes.
Kids today are struggling. A lot of them, COVID didn't help us any in
Right.
terms of kids' development. So we have 18-year-olds that emotionally are not quite that
Yeah.
old.
Yep.
So they need more assistance than maybe 18-year-olds when you
Right.
and I
Sure.
graduated.
Yep.
And so it's a situation where I think that a lot of these kids could be very successful, but they need a hand up.
Yeah.
They need to know how to access the resources that are available to
Yeah.
them. And that's a big part of our program, is that we want to be able to connect them to all the different things that are available to them,
Yeah.
whether they're going to college or trying to find a job in the
Sure.
local factory.
Yeah. That's
So we're
great.
focused on all of that.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for what you do. It's been
Well,
a pleasure
you're
to
welcome.
meet
It's
you. And
great to
I
meet you.
really have been inspired by your passion.
Well, thank you.
Right in this, and I'll continue to think about what you're doing, and
Great.
and hopefully it goes great.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you
everybody,
very
for
much.
watching.
Yes.